It's over. The Toronto Blue Jays miss out back-to-back years now on a absolute superstar in Juan Soto. He has officially signed with the New York Mets, and Jays fans are left to wonder what is next for the team. We're going to break down the exact signing, some reports that have come out from Schneider, discuss what's next for this team as the Jays miss out on another stud. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, I want to thank everybody who tuned into the stream yesterday. It was an absolutely generational stream. Welcome everybody, the new subscribers. Phenomenal stream, and thank you guys for, again, bearing with us through all the Soto content. It's time to now pivot to what is going to be a crucial offseason for Ross Atkins and the Toronto Blue Jays. And quite frankly, they have a lot of work to do. They missed out on Juan Soto. Now, we will be positive in the sense, and I have a lot to go over today. Of course, he goes to the New York Mets, and we were live. You can go check out our reaction to the live stream from earlier. I mean, he goes to the Mets, 15 years, 765. It has elevators that can take it above 800 million. And we, got a report coming out that the decision was going to be made tonight. It ultimately was. If you're watching this, Sunday, December 8th. That being said, best case scenario if it wasn't the Jays. Juan Soto is now out of the AL East. And that is the biggest thing for this team going forward, is being out of the AL East. I'm happy that it happened, that it wasn't, I was hoping it was going to be the Jays. We're still waiting to hear reports about what the Jays offer was. Still refreshing Twitter, even as of this moment. But what it comes down to is the Toronto Blue Jays made their best effort at it. They have taken huge, aggressive swings on Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto in back-to-back off seasons. There's only two groups, though. The team who gets the guy and the 29 others. There are a dozen ways to pivots now, but this has to be another frustrating day in the organization. And I think there was real optimism that the Toronto Blue Jays were going to get Juan Soto internally. We know they've met with Corbin Burns. We know they've met with Max Fried, guys like Anthony Santander. We'll have a video coming out for you, of course, tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon about those things, and there's new reports flying. But at the end of the day, you miss out on another free agent, and now you're facing the realistic outcome of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. pending UFA, Bichette pending UFA, Chris Bassett pending UFA, Kevin Gausman UFA after 2025. And you don't have your studs locked down. You don't have Juan Soto. And, I mean, we'll get into the Yankees part of it too. The Jays offer has yet to be released. I think it's $730 million over 15 years. You cannot say that they didn't try to get Juan Soto. You cannot say that they didn't put their absolute best foot forward, because they 100% did. There's no doubt about it. But what they didn't do was get the player. And that's all that matters at this point. You have to get the player. They did not. You had to. It's as simple as that. And, I mean, quite frankly, where do the Jays go from here? There's a lot of different options, and we're going to be spending the next weeks kind of breaking down what those options are and do all these different things. However, in the moment for tonight/tomorrow, or for now, we'll kind of just discuss, what we can control. And we think about this time last year, a year ago to date, when the Ohtani plane situation happened, and a day or two later, I think it was the day after, we of course had him sign with the Dodgers. It's heartbreak 2 years in a row now, and it's unfortunate. Their plan B cannot be the plan B they had last offseason. Justin Turner, IKF, Kevin Kiermaier, all these guys. It cannot happen. It simply cannot happen. And if they go ahead and they do something of that nature and of that ilk, then they may as well just, at this point, chalk it up and go into a rebuild. This is their last chance this offseason for Atkins and Shapiro and the front office and the group to make a big play. And they made a big play for Juan Soto, clearly. But it was, we can also take a minute here. 15 years at basically $800 million is absolutely absurd. It is beyond what we expected coming in. There was reports of, 12 years, $500 million. We never thought it was going to get up to $700 million. It got to $700 million. The Red Sox offer, as reported, was about $700 million. So that $700 million from that report is asinine. And we thought that would win them. If they went up to $700 million, they'd win it. Peter and I were on record, on video, saying if it goes up to $700 million, there's no point. Ultimately, it did, and it went up to $800 million with elevators throughout the contract. There's also an opt-out after year 5, which means we might be redoing this whole situation again in 5 years. With all that being said, it is a heartbreaking day for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's because they've done it now twice in a row. They put themselves in a position, they missed out on a few other players, and you think about it from the perspective of a bunch of different, guys. You think about, let's say they go out and you get Tyler O'Neill is an option. He's now signed. You have Blake Treinen. He's signed. He's, of course, a reliever. The Jays were linked to him. You think about the guys who are available. Again, Max Fried, Anthony Santander, a lot of those guys. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Teoscar Hernandez still available. We saw Michael Conforto, a guy that a lot of reporters out there of the Toronto Blue Jays liked. Ultimately, they didn't get him. He signed with the Dodgers as well. So it's at the point now where their pivot needs to be a strong one. And if they go out and get Corbin Burnes, I'm sure most Jays fans would be perfectly fine with that. They go out, they get Corbin Burnes, everybody's happy. Things, it is what it is. But if they go out and they have an offseason now of Anthony Santander, a mid-starter, Sean Manaea, something like that, he's pretty good. And then, it's a free agent starter, and then a decent, bullpen piece. It's just not enough. Anthony Santander adds max 3.5 wins max to your team. He's a power hitter. He would help protect Vladdy, all these different things. But that doesn't matter if your team and the rest of your team isn't good enough. And we look at the other offers that teams made here, which, of course, the Yankees went to $750 million, and Steve Cohen outbid them, which is unfortunate. We saw this here. Again, Yankees deserve credit for apparently going well beyond their comfort zone at $750 to $760. But word now is Cohen is going up to $800 million. If so, he'll be alone. If that came out, we were hoping it wasn't true. It ultimately was true. And as you look into the future now, you're thinking, hey, at least he's gone out of the AL East. And that is true. The Jays have an opportunity now. They need to go out and get one of the big fish. Now, whether that's going to happen over the next week, we hope, or later, we're seeing things happen very, very fast. Blake Treinen, for example, of course, Blake Treinen got signed. Transactions are happening. Anthony Santander is probably going to get signed sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. The Jays need to pivot. Get Anthony Santander. He has the 6th most home runs in baseball since or in the past handful of seasons. Next, go out and get a guy like Corbin Burnes. At this point, the only big pitchers left are, Corbin Burnes, Max Fried. They're the only big free agents left. I know your payroll, $40 million, whatever it is, you might have to spend a little bit more. If they were just willing to spend $700 million on Juan Soto, and now you're obviously not going to be able to spend $700 million on anybody else. So go out and spend it on a guy like Corbin Burnes. And unfortunately, if you are the Toronto Blue Jays, those options, if you don't get Corbin Burnes or Max Fried, you're running out of time and you're running out of effort. Because at this point, not running out of effort, sorry, you're running out of, competitive chances here. The Jays have a few more chances. Corbin Burnes, guys like that. Again, we saw reports earlier, confident or the Jays are dumb, because we know the report came out that their entire thing was that if they had to land the big fish and that they weren't focused on anybody else, they better get to focusing quite fast, because if they don't, this is a complete replay of what we saw last year with Shohei Ohtani. And it's unfortunate, it is frustrating, it is annoying, it is the last chance for the Toronto Blue Jays to make this up, and they need to do it by getting a big star. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. It's unfortunate, and at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Juan Soto won't be a Blue Jay. The dream was real. But what's not real is the amount of work that Ross, Atkins, and company have to do tonight. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. We'll keep you updated with all the latest news. Videos are going to be flying out, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. It starts tomorrow. Tons of news is going to be coming. And I think, my prediction, Santander is going to be a Blue Jay. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.